Throughout history, humans have left behind messages, some carved in stone, others scribbled on paper, and even a few transmitted through radio waves. Some were meant to be read by all, while others were designed to remain hidden, known only to a select few. But not all of them have been understood. Some remain locked behind codes and ciphers that no one has ever cracked. These aren't simply puzzles, they are messages that have defied the brightest minds, frustrated the greatest code breakers, and resisted the power of modern artificial intelligence. Some have existed for centuries, their meaning lost to time. Others were created within the last few decades and still mock those who try to solve them. A few may hold forgotten knowledge, buried secrets, or the key to a truth we've yet to uncover. Others might lead nowhere, designed only to mislead, confuse, and provoke curiosity. A book with no known author, a language no one has ever seen before, strange plants that don't exist, diagrams of celestial bodies that don't match our sky, hundreds of pages of symbols and illustrations, carefully inked and preserved for centuries, yet completely indecipherable. This is the Voyek Manuscript, the most mysterious book in the world. Discovered in 1912 by an antique book dealer named Wilfred Voyek, this medieval manuscript has defied every attempt to understand it. Radiocarbon dating indicates it was written sometime between 1404 and 1438, but in an unknown script composed of characters that do not appear in any recorded language. Some of the symbols resemble letters, others look like numbers. However, despite over a century of study, no one has been able to translate a single word. The manuscript is filled with detailed illustrations, botanical sketches of plants that have never been identified, astronomical charts that do not match the known constellations, and anatomical diagrams of human figures floating in pools of liquid. Some pages fold out like maps, revealing complex star charts and networks of interconnected symbols. The handwriting is meticulous and the ink is expertly applied, yet the meaning behind it all remains a mystery. Over the years, countless theories have emerged. Some believe the manuscript is an elaborate hoax created in the Middle Ages to fool collectors and scholars. Others insist it must be an unknown language, a forgotten dialect encoded in symbols only its author could understand. Some suggest it could be an encrypted medical text filled with ancient knowledge that has been lost to time. A few have even speculated that it might not be from this world at all, that it could be evidence of something beyond human understanding. Just before we continue with today's video, you know what takes less time than scrolling through your inbox in the morning? Making breakfast that doesn't suck with our friends over at Huel. Huel Black Edition, which is what I'm holding right now, is a full meal. It's plant-based, it's gluten-free, there's no artificial sweeteners, which is kind of amazing because it still tastes good. It's like a chocolate flavor, and with no artificial sweeteners, but despite being good for you, kind of amazing. Each serving gives you 40 grams of protein, it's low sugar, got all the vitamins and minerals your body actually needs, plus it comes in 9 flavors. I got the chocolate one here, and it takes about 30 seconds. I got a lot of chocolate, because the other bag that I've got is also chocolate. Which is nice, I like it. I'll stick with chocolate, why not? Literally all you do, you add water, you shake, and you are done. Like I say, it tastes great. Now, if I don't have time to make a full meal, if I don't just feel like cooking, well, Huel is always there. Also, at under $3 a meal, it's probably cheaper than whatever, sad sandwich you're picking up at the local gas station, Americans. Those sad sandwiches. So click the link in the description below or go to huel.com/sideprojects15 and use the code sideprojects15 to get 15% off plus a free gift. That's for new customers only, by the way. That's Huel, they're the sponsor. Now back to today's episode. Hidden in plain sight, standing outside the headquarters of the CIA, is a sculpture containing one of the world's most famous unsolved codes. It's called Kryptos, and for over 30 years it's taunted some of the world's best cryptographers, intelligence analysts, and puzzle enthusiasts. The sculpture, created in 1990 by artist Jim Sanborn, is made of curved copper sheets with 4 encrypted messages engraved onto its surface. 3 of those messages have been deciphered, but the 4th remains unsolved. The first section of code contained a poetic phrase: between subtle shading and the absence of light lies the nuance of illusion. The second was a set of coordinates pointing to a location just outside CIA headquarters. The third contained a cryptic reference to Howard Carter, the man who discovered the tomb of Tutankhamun. It also contained the phrase, "Can you see anything? Yes, wonderful things." But the final section, 97 characters long, has never been cracked. Over the years, some of the world's greatest codebreakers have attempted to solve it. The CIA and independent cryptographers have all worked on the puzzle. Even the NSA, which specializes in breaking the toughest codes on the planet, hasn't been able to decipher it. Sanborn has only offered 2 small clues to help codebreakers along the way: the word Berlin and the word clock. But what they mean and how they fit into the final solution are still unknown. Some believe the final message holds a deeper secret, something Sanborn intended to be revealed only after all 4 sections were solved. Others think that it's just an intellectual challenge, a puzzle meant to outlive its creator. A dead man on an Australian beach. No ID, no known cause of death, no missing person report that matched his description. Just a well-dressed corpse lying against a seawall, a half-smoked cigarette resting on his collar. The only clue? A tiny scrap of paper hidden in his pocket with 2 words printed on it: Tarman should. The phrase comes from the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam, a book of Persian poetry. It means it is finished. What exactly was finished? His life? A secret mission? A cryptic farewell? The mystery began on the 1st of December 1948, when the unidentified man was discovered on Somerton Beach in Adelaide, Australia. He had no visible wounds, his body showed no signs of struggle, and an autopsy revealed that his organs were in an unusual state, as if he'd been poisoned, but there was no trace of poison to be found. His teeth and fingerprints didn't match any known records. But then came the real twist. Weeks later, a local man walked into a police station with a copy of the Rubaiyat. He said that he'd found it in his car parked near the beach around the same time that the body was discovered. The last page was missing, the very page that contains the words Tarman should. And that wasn't all. Inside the book, detectives found something even stranger, a series of seemingly random letters written in faint pencil with this strange code. I'm showing it on the screen now because reading it out would be pointless. It looks like gobbledygook. To this day, no one has cracked it. Cryptographers, military intelligence, and amateur sleuths have tried to decode the meaning of these letters, but the sequence remains a mystery. Adding to the intrigue, the book also contained a phone number. It led police to a local woman named Jo Thompson, who denied knowing anything about the dead man. But when officers showed her a cast of his face, she seemed visibly shaken. She refused to talk about it. Years later, her family hinted that she might have known more than she admitted. Some believe the Somerton man was a spy, perhaps caught in the crossfire of Cold War espionage. Others think he was involved in an illicit affair, a criminal operation, or something even stranger. In July 2022, Professor Derek Abbott and genealogist Colleen Fitzpatrick announced that DNA analysis identified the Somerton man as Carl Charles Webb, an electrical engineer and instrument maker born in Melbourne in 1905, but the circumstances of his death and the meaning of the code, that remains unsolved. A shadowy figure in a dark hood, a string of brutal murders, a killer who taunted the police and the press, sending cryptic letters filled with puzzles, threats, and a chilling promise. I like killing people because it is so much fun. Between 1968 and 1974, the Zodiac Killer terrorized Northern California, claiming responsibility for at least 5 confirmed murders, though he hinted at many more. Unlike other serial killers, he didn't just vanish into the night. He wanted attention. He wanted to be known, and he wanted the world to crack its ciphers. He sent 4 coded messages to newspapers, daring readers to decipher them. The first one, a 408-character cipher, was cracked in 1969 by a schoolteacher and his wife. It revealed a disturbing message about his obsession with killing. But the second, a 340-character cipher, remained unsolved for over 50 years. It wasn't until 2020 that a team of cryptographers finally broke the code. The decrypted message read, "I hope you're having lots of fun trying to catch me. I am not afraid of the gas chamber because it will send me to paradise all the sooner." Despite the breakthrough, 2 of the Zodiac ciphers remain unsolved, the so-called Z13 and Z32. The Z13 contains just 13 characters, possibly spelling out the killer's name. The Z32, allegedly revealing the location of a bomb, has never been decoded. Experts have tried every known decryption technique, including analyzing letter frequencies, running computer algorithms, and comparing the symbols to known codes. But these 2 ciphers continue to defy all attempts at solving them. Some believe the messages are a hoax designed to frustrate investigators and leave behind a false trail. Others think the Zodiac deliberately made them unsolvable, encrypting them in a way that only he would understand. The Zodiac Killer was never caught. His identity remains unknown, and his motivations unclear. His ciphers, letters, and taunts are all that's left behind of his twisted game. A single clay disc, no bigger than a human hand, covered in symbols that no one has ever deciphered. A language that appears nowhere else in history, a message that has remained unread for over 3,500 years. The Phaistos disc was first discovered in 1908 in the ruins of an ancient palace on the island of Crete. It is made of fired clay and covered on both sides with 241 symbols arranged in a spiral pattern, with 45 distinct signs depicting a range of images including human figures, animals, plants, and tools. The symbols were not carved by hand, but stamped into the wet clay using some form of early printing technique, a process thought to have been unknown in the ancient world. The meaning of the disc has baffled scholars for over a century. The symbols depict a mixture of familiar and strange images, human figures, animals, tools, plants, and abstract shapes. Some resemble characters from the ancient Minoan script, known as Linear A, but the writing does not match any known language. What does it say, though? Well, some believe it's a hymn or a religious text, a prayer offered to forgotten gods. Others think it could be a legal document, an early attempt at recording laws or decrees. Some have even suggested that it is a game board, a children's toy, or a hoax created by the Minoans themselves. Despite decades of study, no one has ever been able to decode the Phaistos disc. There is no other known text in the same script, no Rosetta Stone to provide a translation. Without more examples of the writing, solving the puzzle may simply be impossible. Standing in the gardens of Shruborough Hall, deep in English countryside, is a monument covered in symbols that have defied explanation for over 2 centuries. The stone carving, known as the Shepherd's Monument, features a relief of a classical painting, shepherds pointing toward an inscription carved below them. The inscription itself is simple, yet baffling. DOUOSVAVVN. 10 letters, no spaces, no explanation. The monument was commissioned in the 18th century by Thomas Anson, a wealthy aristocrat with known ties to secret societies. Some believe the letters are an unsolved code, one that could reveal the location of the Holy Grail. For years, speculation has run wild. Some have claimed that it's a hidden message from the Knights Templar, pointing to a secret treasure buried in England. Others think it's a Masonic cipher, a secret left behind by those with forbidden knowledge. Some believe it is linked to the Rosicrucians, a shadowy mystical order that flourished in the 17th century. Theories about the inscription's meaning vary. Some suggest it's a Latin phrase, possibly a religious or philosophical statement. Others believe it is an acrostic, with each letter representing a word. Some cryptographers have even tried linking it to historical ciphers, but no solution has been universally accepted. Even Charles Darwin, famed for his theory of evolution, tried to crack the inscription. So did Charles Dickens, but both failed. In 2004, codebreakers from Bletchley Park analysed the cipher, but did not reach a conclusive interpretation. To this day, no one knows what the 10 letters stand for, why they were carved into the monument, or their true purpose. A meaningless engraving or a message that could change history? We might never know. Gold bars covered in cryptic symbols, stamped with numbers, riddled with strange Chinese characters and unknown codes. A fortune worth millions, but more valuable than the gold itself is the mystery engraved upon it. In 1933, 7 gold bars were allegedly gifted to General Wang in Shanghai, each inscribed with a series of complex codes, ancient scripts, and references to financial records. The bars contain a mix of Chinese characters, Latin letters, and numerical sequences, some arranged in grid-like patterns that resemble traditional encryption techniques. The Chinese inscriptions reference a substantial transaction exceeding $300 million purportedly deposited into the Shanghai branch of a US bank. Some believe the inscriptions reveal details of secret wartime transactions between Chinese and American banks. Others think they point to hidden wealth, a coded record of lost gold reserves stashed away during World War II. For decades, codebreakers have tried to decipher the engravings, but no one has been able to make full sense of them. The messages could be financial records, historical documentation, or something even more obscure, possibly a cipher known only to the people who created it. Despite cryptographers' and historians' efforts, the inscription's meaning remains a puzzle. The gold bars exist, and the messages are real, but the key to understanding them is still missing. A secret buried in the hills of Virginia, a hidden fortune in gold and silver, said to be worth over $60 million in today's money. 3 coded messages locked behind an encryption that has never been cracked. This is the mystery of the Beale ciphers, one of the greatest unsolved treasure hunts in history. Now, our story begins in the 1800s with Thomas J. Beale, a man who supposedly discovered a vast treasure whilst prospecting in the American West. Fearing that he or his men might not survive to retrieve it, he encrypted the treasure's location in 3 separate ciphers, locked the key to the code inside an unknown document, and entrusted a small iron box containing the messages to a Virginia innkeeper. And then he vanished. Decades later, the box was opened. Inside were 3 sheets of paper, each filled with seemingly random numbers. The second cipher was cracked in 1885, using the Declaration of Independence as the key, revealing a message that described the hidden treasure in detail: gold, silver, and jewels buried underground. But the 2 other ciphers are still unsolved. One is said to contain the exact location of the treasure, and the other supposedly lists the names of the men who discovered it. But without the key, neither has ever been deciphered. Some believe the solution is still hidden in a forgotten historical document waiting for someone to make the connection. Treasure hunters have searched the Virginia countryside for decades, digging in places they believe fit the description. Some claim to have found clues, but no one has ever uncovered the gold. Skeptics argue that the whole story might be a hoax designed to send people on a wild chase for something that never existed, but others believe the ciphers are real, that a fortune still lies buried beneath the earth, its secret locked inside a code that has resisted decryption for over 200 years. A book filled with over 400 pages of mysterious script, written in an unknown language using an alphabet that appears nowhere else in history. A text so bizarre that even the best linguists and cryptographers have failed to decipher a single sentence. This is the Rahawk Codeex, one of the most puzzling and unexplained manuscripts ever discovered. No one knows exactly where it came from. The earliest known record of the Codex dates back to the early 19th century, when it was found in Hungary. It was named after the city of Rahawk, where it was kept for years before being passed to the Hungarian Academy of Sciences. However, despite extensive study, no one has been able to determine who wrote it, when, or why. The script itself is unlike anything ever seen before. It contains nearly 200 distinct symbols, far more than any known alphabet. Some of the letters appear to resemble ancient Hungarian, Sanskrit, or even early Romanian writing, but they don't match any known linguistic system. Unlike most texts, the code doesn't seem to follow a clear left-to-right or right-to-left pattern. Some researchers believe it might be a highly sophisticated cipher, while others suggest it could be a forgotten language. The pages are filled with strange illustrations, scenes of knights, castles, crosses, military battles, and religious imagery. Some images appear to depict biblical stories, while others seem entirely unique, unlike anything from recorded history. Without a translation, their meaning is just pure speculation. Over the years, theories about the Codex's origins have ranged from the believable to the bizarre. Some say it was created by an unknown medieval sect encoding their teachings in a secret script. Others believe it's a hoax, an elaborate prank designed to confuse scholars. Some even suggest it might be an attempt to document an entirely fictional civilization, a book written in a language that never existed. Despite multiple attempts to decode it, including efforts from professional code breakers and AI-assisted linguistic experts, the Rahawk Codex remains unreadable. Some codes are meant to be solved, while others are meant to remain mysteries. Across centuries and continents, these cryptic messages have defied historians, cryptographers, and puzzle enthusiasts alike. Some might be hoaxes, elaborate deceptions crafted to mislead. Others could be the keys to forgotten knowledge, their secrets still waiting to be unlocked. Some hold the promise of hidden fortunes, while others may never have been intended to be understood at all. Time has erased the context of many of these messages. The people who wrote them are long gone, and the civilizations that created them are buried beneath history, and yet the codes remain, staring back at us from old manuscripts or carved into stone, printed in letters that refuse to reveal their meaning.